noticed some pictures all over right over there. All the cheese. I was in Santa Cruz. This is where it got right.
Are all these taken?
To celebrate my father, who gave me but one tactical, practical piece of advice. And that piece of advice was never, ever agree to do a eulogy. Instead, make a toast. Less fuss, more booze. So that is what we're going to do this afternoon. We're going to make a toast. And in that spirit, my father, a rugged individualist who believed what he believed and stood behind everything that he believed unapologetically. He lived his life in this backyard contemplatively and with passion. He was an artist, a dreamer, an athlete, a philosopher, mostly a philosopher, less so on the practical side of life. He was a skier, and he was a wonderful, strange, weird father, and we loved him madly. He also lived his life with gratitude, with so much gratitude to wake up in this house in the shadow of the Rocky Mountains, but mostly grateful to wake up next to my mother for 60 years. And it is also in the spirit of my father's gratitude that we thank all of you. Your names are the names that we grew up with. They were woven into the fabric of our family. We grew up with the Coots, the McCulloughs. We grew up with, who else, Mom? Becky, the first girlfriend. Which we just learned. They didn't do it. They didn't do it. And later in life, Michael and Laurel, Sophia, Peyton, and my husband, Mark. And so in the spirit also of my father, this is the last part, we raise a toast in gratitude to a life so very, very well lived and so very, very much loved. Thank you all for coming.
Thanks. Woo! Mama's just delighted. We got, I mean, there are people here from every phase of Ron's life. His first girlfriend. They didn't do it. It was the 5th grade. So. Another high school friend. Yes. We have college friends. Martin Cood, Ron's dearest friend from college, and Karen. We did everything together when we were in college. And then we have people all through our lives. Kathy Hayden, where are you? A neighbor with a kid. This is a neighbor 50 years ago. We were neighbors. And she just popped up, you know. And my cousin from Wisconsin. There's a whole clan of Spirer girls and Spirer family here. They were Amy and Emily's best friends when we were in Plano. And they called Ron Mr. Ron. Remember? Mr. Ron. And I was Miss Nita. So we've got Ron's nephews, 2 of his nephews and his niece and their families. Ron's brother died 12 years ago, and these kids, we all grew up, my kids grew up with them. So we also have one of Ron's colleagues from Church and Dwight, Aaron and Lindsay. Aaron Wright came to work. Ron was his mentor, so there's a little story.
Wow.
And he was so young, Ron called him Baby Aaron. And he, to the day he died, he called him Baby Aaron. So, and dear friends of mine that I worked with for 40 years, Melissa Newkirk, Chrissy Newkirk, Gary Seldenbridge. I was the matchmaker for Gary and Chrissy. So I've been very busy, extremely busy. I want to tell you all a few things. Oh, and our neighbor, John, Gwen, we've got our dear neighbors here. There are other people, our neighbors' parents. We bring them on. I want to tell you all a few things you may not know about Ron Cosper. I mean, we all know lots of fun things about him. But first of all, he loved mariachi music. Thus, mariachi music. And he said, Mom, we have to have mariachis. I went, oh, jeez. But the priest didn't come, so we're happy. When he was at SMU, he was named the ugliest man on campus for 2 years. And I don't think it was how he looked, I think it's how he acted. So I think that was the problem. And this is a man who loved Halloween, he loved costumes, he loved masks. Everybody in here has been chased by Ron with a mask on, right? Raise your hand. And Ron has a box of masks in the top of his closet. And Sophie and Peyton said, not everybody's granddaddy has a box of masks. They didn't get it. So he also, and he loved costumes. There's a picture of him here in his whoopee cushion costume, which was, you know, one of his favorites. And so he loved dressing up, he loved scaring people, he loved having fun, but particularly loved to scare kids, didn't he? He has always had a real hard time with cars. He just had bad luck with cars. And I should have known when I met him that it was going to be trouble. I mean, always. He lost 2 cars. One he lost the night before our wedding. And you can imagine why that one got lost. Right, Martin? I'm sure you had something to do with it. And after we were married, we drove a Camaro. And twice we were driving along and the engine fell out of the Camaro. Just on the ground. So, the weekend we got engaged, his car caught on fire. We were driving back to SMU, and his engine caught on fire. This was another car. He's had a really rough time with cars. So, but you know, he just bought another one every time they caught on fire.
You did catch my friend's car on fire.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And there has been a car without a parking brake down this hill.
Yeah. That was Mom.
We can blame it on him, he's gone. Okay. He was captain of his junior high, high school, and college football teams. He was voted the most friendly of his senior class in high school. Yeah, you didn't know that? Where have you been? And he had a lot of nicknames. Cos and Mr. Ron and a lot of nicknames. I mostly called him asshole. His favorite name was Gum Daddy for the kids. But when he was in high school, his nickname was Animal. And he'd always say, you know what my nickname was? It was Animal. And he just thought that was great. And I thought it was rude, but and when we were dating, he would open Coke bottles with his teeth. Thus, he had no teeth very early in life. But he did. Martin, you remember that?
Thus gummy.
Right. Thus gummy, that's right. The first song that he taught to Amy and Emily was Long Black Veil. Not rock.
Yes, long black veil.
Which was very inappropriate. Totally inappropriate. The other thing that he can do was amazing. He can spell words backwards.
He could do that.
And particularly names.
Ecom.
Ecom. She always called him Ecom. And so he was an amazing man. He really was. And we're so glad that y'all are here to celebrate with us. And I want to also thank Michael because he helped build this campground. You remember he made you load all those rocks?
Oh, I remember.
He'd be in the Jeep. He'd say, Michael, go get that one. Go get that one.
That looks like a nice rock.
Up there.
I've gotten several letters from people that good friends of Ron's and that couldn't be here today. And I'm going to read a funny one, and Sophia's going to read the one that made me cry. So,
Like Gummy said, it was a fool's errand to read a letter,
Yeah.
so I passed it to my sister.
Ron loved people that waited on him in stores. Made best friends with them. And there was a gal at Walgreens named Ann, and they just became best buddies. This is why. I remember the first time I met Ron at Walgreens in Evergreen in 2008. I saw this fancy red Jeep, caught my eye in the parking lot, so I thought, I'm gonna watch this, see who gets out of this Jeep. So this big guy gets out, looks like a football player, long gray ponytail. So I watched him, he came in and I said, is there anything I can help you find? He said, yes, I'm looking for extra large condoms. I was not with him. And she said, I said to myself, this is my kind of guy. He's got a great sense of humor. And ever since, Ron was my buddy. He came into the store the next time and he was still crazy. And you were with him and I said to myself, that woman is a saint. He could make me laugh or cry. He was someone that if you were having a bad day, he made you feel better. He was definitely my buddy, and I'll sure miss him. Nita, you deserve a Purple Heart. You and Ron and Bernie have touched my life, and I appreciate your friendship. Love Ann. So lots of nice.
Good job, Mom.
Yay.
Okay, Sophia.
I got the short stick, so
We got the black queen here.
she's the older sister, so bear with me.
Okay, I'm gonna set this up. This is from the Richies. They were our other good friends at SMU, Martin and Ron and John Ritchie, and the couples were good friends, and they couldn't be here. They couldn't be here today, so they sent us a really nice letter. So.
All right. I made it like a paragraph through this on a trial run, so we're gonna see how it goes. But I'm doing better than my sister. She couldn't make it through 4 words. So that's a secret. All right. Okay. Anyways. All right. Dear Nita, Amy, and Emily, what can we say to our most cherished friends of 60 years? You are family and we love you. We wish we could be there to celebrate Ron's life and support you. Ron will live on in our hearts forever. We had so much fun for many years. We shared countless memories. We had fun with and without the kids. I only wish we had done more. We will treasure them all. When we think of Ron, we can't help but smile and laugh because he brought us so much joy. He taught us not to take life too seriously. He was a free spirit, full of surprises, and always kept us on his toes with his wild antics. Everybody needs a bit of crazy in their lives, and Ron brought that in abundance. But aside from being wonderfully nuts, Ron was so smart and sweet. He had such a brilliant and creative mind and was an amazing storyteller. Qualities that clearly live on in Amy and Emily. We adored him. Ron, our beloved Renaissance mountain man, he made the world a more interesting place and made an impression on everyone he met. Truly unforgettable. What a gift he was to all of us. While we are not there with you to celebrate Ron's incredible life, we will be with you in spirit, holding on to the wonderful memories we shared. Ron's legacy will live on in our hearts, and we pray for joy, laughter, and love.
Give me such a nice setup. I'll go on that real quick. So does everyone know kind of the name of this area right here? So we call it the center of the universe. So as Ron and I would drive around Colorado, and he would make me collect rocks and other things that I'm not sure why he made me collect exactly. We built this center of the universe, and it's so appropriate because now we're surrounded by all the people that he was the center of our universe. And it's special to be here, and especially to be with all of you. Secondarily, I think Ron always shared with us that he hated death. And so this is a celebration of life. And this is a hard thing for me to do, it's a hard thing for all of us to do. Because one, it's Ron Cosper, and we could stand up here for 2 or 3 hours talking about the different things he did. But secondarily, it's hard because I personally love the man and I miss him to death. And then lastly, I just want to talk a little bit about what he meant to me, because first of all, as I think he was for everyone here, he was the architect of adventure. He always had something that we could go on exactly to do, to get us in trouble, that we should have gone to jail for, we should have been in hospitals
Hey,
for.
he did.
I think we all did to a certain extent. And I'm happy to share those stories later, maybe not around my daughters. Exactly. Others will share that information. But lastly, again, thank you for being here. Here's to Ron. I'll quote a musician that maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but may Ron's road go on forever, and may his party never end.
I didn't get that memo that Amy got. I must not have been at the center of the universe. I think she might have made it up. She does that. I'm just saying. Can you imagine being Ronnie Cosper's daughter? You have no idea whatsoever what it was like. You think you do, but you don't. Because my dad was not like the other dads. I think you know that. But he was not. And I'm usually really good at using simile and metaphor to make meaning. But I'm always at a loss when I try to compare my dad to someone or something as a way to explain him. I can't find the images or words to convey his multitudes and contradictions. I mean, what would you say? How would you describe my dad? You can't. He was a mystic and a fool. He was a wild-haired, loud-mouthed Shakespearean oracle. He was our Falstaff and our king. He lived big and he spoke his truth. He saw the world for what it was, and he was not afraid to say it out loud, sometimes to our horror. He was a provocateur, he was a teacher, and he was a trickster. Outwardly, he was a babbling eccentric, but at his core, he was a quiet, complicated, contemplative man. His river ran deep. His tomfoolery masked a profound intellect, a mystical connection to nature, and a philosopher's soul. He read the sky and he understood its mystery, its infinity, and our smallness under its stars. He was deep and at times unfathomable. He was generous and he was gentle. He loved kids and animals. I know for certain he loved the Rocky Mountains, dogs, and winter. He loved music, words, and laughter. He loved kids and animals. He loved ice cream and my mom's peach cobbler. He loved his friends and he loved his neighbors. He loved this house and he loved his family. Mostly he loved our beautiful mom, who took such good care of him and made it possible for him to stay here and spend his final years at home where he was at peace, because he really was at peace here. This was his place. He was special and he was singular. There's nobody like my dad. And I'm going to try to read a poem I wrote, but I don't know if I can.
Yes, you can. You got it, sister.
And this was the last time we were with him in this house since he was dying. And it's called Suspended in State. A mystical man, suspended in state, lays wrapped in a shroud like many great men before. He lies in wait, one foot dipping its toes in the cosmos, making sure the water is not too hot. The other, a fraying thread, connecting the dead to the restless here and now, where the strange music of the afterworld thrums below, rattling like a pair of dice in a gambler's hand, or like a pouch of loose runes hanging about a medicine man's belt. Next to the pelts collected along the way, his spirit waits to be tossed into the ether, he to become a skipping stone thrown across physics and mountain stream, leaving waves in his wake as he thrash glides to the other side. I hope the morphine calms the rattle of dry bones in a box and hushes the sound of forever broken hearts, the nocturnal noise that has kept us awake at night or high as a kite since we first walked upright and looked to the stars to shine their light on our troubled world. He could see the Milky Way through the sliding glass doors, and in his head, both faced west, there the sun sets, and all great men go to rest.
Good job.
Beautiful.
Anybody else?
No,
Sorry.
there's a reason why I passed the letter to my sister.
I want to just take 1 minute and tell you all about when Ron and I first met. I meant to have that coin. I don't have that. Well, shit.
Make it up.
Are you looking for the Updike poem? I have it on
No,
my phone.
no.
Okay.
Emily's coin.
Oh, I have that on my phone too.
You have it? Well, I was 19 and Ron was 18, and I had a date with Ron's roommate, and we double dated with Ron and some, and I swear this girl from Graham, Texas, had never seen anything like this in her life. He was hilarious, and he absolutely the whole night I just couldn't stop laughing at him, and all this man wanted in his life was for people to laugh at him. So he called me the next week. We went out on a date, and that was it. We never, either one, ever went out with anybody else, ever. Our first date, we went to the movie in Dallas, you know. He picked me up in one of his cars. It was still running. And it was a little Carmen Gia, so it was a little sports car. He opened the door, fell on the ground, first of all. Walked around, got me out of the car, we went to the movie. About halfway through the movie, he said he was gonna go get a Coke and some popcorn. So I said, and the movie was Splendor in the Grass. Terrible movie. Great date. So he didn't come back, and he didn't come back. So I was sitting there, I said, where is he? So all of a sudden, things are hitting me on the head. And Ron is sitting 3 rows back, throwing ice at me. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Marry him, that's right. Did you buy this? Okay. Emily wrote me a poem a couple of years ago that is lovely, but this is the part about Ron. On rolling Dallas lawn, she caught the eye of a genius clown. He guarded quarterbacks and laughed her all the way to the altar. He was a man, the wild man, a man's man, a ladies' man, the big man, the bad man, the funny man, the gorilla man, her man, and he was my man. Good job. All right.
Turn on some music, announce the food.
Okay, we're gonna eat, and then I want anybody else that has something to say and tell. I mean, every one of you, I know the stories you're gonna tell.
Good job.
So we've got a lot of good food over here, and y'all please try to find a place. Some of you may have to eat in your lap. Sorry, Bertie's taking up one whole side of the table. You know, if you get a little meat, we can move him. That's all we need. So let's see if we can get the dog moved and get some people seated, and lots of good food. There's barbecue beef, pork, chicken, sausage. We've got some asparagus, we've got beans, several different kinds of stuff.
and left.